Thank you so much, Angela. Allegedly confessing to the crimes.
That's what the jury in the Delphi murders trial heard during testimony today. Our legal expert, Katie Jackson-Lindsay, has been following developments today, and she joins us now on set. And Katie, this morning the prosecution presented phone calls made by Richard Allen to his wife and mother in which he allegedly confesses to killing Abby Williams and Libby German. So firstly, we were talking about this in the newsroom. How are they able to listen to his private phone calls to his family members? That's normal?
That is normal. They're not private when they're made from a correctional facility. In fact, one of the things they hear over and over on those recordings is these calls are being monitored and recorded. And so he would have been on notice that he was being monitored and recorded at all times, just like any other inmate that's in custody.
Okay.
So in Bob's report, he was saying that Richard Allen allegedly confessed to killing both girls repeatedly in a series of phone calls over a period of time. So how does the defense then respond to that and set up when the jury has heard the suspect confess in his own words? That has to be a tough task.
It's a tough task. No defense attorney ever wants to have to deal with a confession. I, in fact, talked to my trial partner about this today, that this is really hard to overcome, much less having so many different confessions. But I think it cuts both ways for that reason, because it's one thing to have a confession, but to have numerous confessions over and over, it's kind of hard to believe, from my perspective at least, that even a truly guilty person would do that when they know they're being recorded. So I suspect we'll see in their case in chief, which I understand is coming pretty soon here, how they'll defend against that. And I think they'll challenge his mental state.
So Brian Harshman is an Indiana state trooper that took the stand, and he listened to and recorded more than 700 phone calls of Richard Allen. And so in his cross-examination, the question came up was whether or not medication, specifically Haldol, whether or not that could have played a role in Richard Allen's speech and behavior. So he couldn't answer because he cited that he's not a psych expert, but at the same time, he was the one that was monitoring him for all of these hundreds of phone calls and hearing his voice and hearing his mental state and what could have possibly happened. What's the defense goal with this line of questioning?
Again, I think what we'll see coming up is they will really challenge Richard Allen's mental state during that time. And you know, it's difficult to reconcile how he's able to testify that Richard Allen was calm, that he seemed subdued, that he seemed relaxed, but at the same time, he's saying he's not a mental health expert and he can't really speak to his mental state. We also now know that he had the notes, at least, from the therapist that was treating Richard Allen that we heard from yesterday. And so it seems inconsistent. He certainly is not a medical expert and shouldn't be testifying to his mental state, but that applies to whether or not his mental state was calm as well.
And it seemed like it went both ways. There was a variety. At some points he was calm and subdued. At other points they said that he was even found eating his feces.
Exactly. So it's really hard for, I think, even a lay person. I'm not a medical expert. I'm an attorney, but any normal person that's watching this coverage knows that that is not normal behavior. And so that is what the jury is having to reconcile right now. They're having to make the determination based on everything that they've heard, the denials and the confessions. What do we believe? What do we not believe? Do we think these are true confessions versus someone out of their mind?
So as we heard, Bob said the prosecution has rested and now it's up to the defense.
Exactly. So now we'll see the other side of the coin.
Yeah. All right. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Katie Jackson-Lindsay, our legal expert, for joining us live in the studio. Thanks so much.
And she's sticking around for our Delphi debrief.
Yes, she's going to be joining Bob and Emily tonight, as she does most weeknights at 10 p.m. on WTHR+. You can catch the Delphi debrief during the trial Monday through Friday.